So, dear audience, let me present you my project and the progress I made in the past few months. My topic is accuracy of digital technology in implant prosthodontics, from impression taking to cast fabrication. My name is Boldizsár Vánkos. I'm a third-year resident at the Department of Prosthodontics, and my supervisor is Barbara Kispei, my SMS is Kata Kelemen, and the statisticians are Réka Tóth, Tamás Koly, and Gergely Agulcs. My vision is to establish modern, simple, accurate, and patient-friendly workflows in implant prosthodontics, and my mission to achieve this is to investigate the accuracy and efficacy of the novel technologies in this field. Currently, I have two topics running. Both of them are meta-analysis. And my first topic is comparing the accuracy of additive versus conventional cast fabrication in implant prosthodontics. I started this project in September 2022, and I have already submitted it in October 2023. So when fabricating an implant prosthesis, one of the most important things is that the implant analogs in the cast should be in the exact same position as the implants are in the jaws. To achieve this, dentists most often use the gold standard method, which is taking an open tray impression and then casting it with gypsum. This is a well-proven method. It's been used for a long time, but it has some drawbacks. It's time-consuming, it's labor-intensive, and since it's done by hand, it has many possibilities of error, and the quality is not predictable and not constant. Additive manufacturing can offer a solution to these problems. It can be more time and cost-effective, it can be partially or fully automated, and therefore it can produce a constant standard quality. However, this is a technology still being developed and improved, and the biggest question is whether the accuracy of this technology can match the gold standard accuracy. So my aim is to investigate the accuracy of additively manufactured implant casts. To answer my clinical question, I used the PICO framework with the population of dental typodonts with implants. The intervention group was additive cast fabrication, the comparator was conventional cast fabrication, and the outcomes were 3D and linear deviations of the implant analogs. I conducted my systematic search in the three main databases, yielding a total of 3,568 articles, and throughout the title abstract and then the full text selection, I get a final 8 eligible full text studies. Based on these 8 studies, we could manage to conduct statistical analysis in horizontal, vertical, and overall deviations of the implant analogs. In this figure, you can see the mean difference of root mean square deviations between the two groups, which were the conventional and the additive cast fabrication groups. Root mean square is an often used formula to describe overall deviations, and this is important data because the positional accuracy or the positional deviations of the implant analogs determine the accuracy and the fit of the final prosthesis. We can see that there is a high heterogeneity in the data. There is data on both sides of the figure, which might be explained by the different 3D printing technologies and the different impression-taking technologies used in each study. But despite the seemingly large deviations, we decided to pool them together because they all fit within the threshold of the clinically acceptable accuracy, which is 120 micrometers. Based on this analysis, there were no clinically relevant nor statistically significant differences between the two groups. In the next figure, you can see the horizontal displacement of the implant analogs in the control group and in the intervention group as well. The data are also measured in micrometers, and they are means and standard deviations. In this outcome as well, there is a high heterogeneity within the data, and we can see some outliers as well. Based on the materials and methods section and the data reporting system of these articles, we couldn't really find an exact cause for these outliers. However, we accept these two outliers all data was within the clinically acceptable threshold as well. So despite the seemingly large deviations, there were no statistically significant nor clinically relevant deviations between the two groups. One of the strengths of our research is that it's based on a novel problem statement with including the cast fabrication as well, and not just the impression taking. It follows a strict reporting system and methodology, and in contrast with the previous articles on this topic, we could conduct analysis as well. The main limitation was the low number and the inconsistency of the data, and we could also see an inconsistency in the methodology of the included articles, and the data reporting system was not as transparent as it should have been. The main conclusion is that additive cast fabrication in implant prosthodontics is as accurate, as reliable as the conventional cast fabrication, which means in the practice that clinicians and practitioners are encouraged to use this technology because it is as reliable as the conventional method. The scientific implication is that more in vivo research would be needed, and with more coherent and consistent data reporting system to have an even better view of the topic. My manuscript has been submitted to the Journal of Prosthodontic Research in October, and yesterday I have submitted the revised version of the manuscript, so I'm waiting for the decision now. My second topic is comparing the accuracy of the conventional versus different digital implant impression techniques. It's similar to the previous topic, but it focuses only on the impression taking technologies, and it includes a broader scope and a broader spectrum of impression taking technologies. So the gold standard in implant prosthodontics has been the open tray impression taking technique, which usually includes the splinting of the copings using some polyether or type A silicone impression taking material. This is again a well-proven and believed to be accurate method, but it's unpleasant and lengthy, complicated process, uncomfortable for the patients, and in some cases, for example, rehabilitation and prosthodontic cases, it's not even always possible to take an impression. The digital impression taking with either scan bodies or coded healing abutments could be a possible alternative for this method, which promises no pain, less discomfort, and a much quicker and more straightforward workflow. However, again, the accuracy is the main question. So my aim was to investigate the accuracy of different digital impression taking technologies compared to the conventional open tray impression taking method. Again, I use the PICO framework. Currently, I have two interventions: digital impression taking with scan body and digital impression taking with coded healing abutment. But I'm in the middle of data extraction, and it seems that we can include more methods, and we can possibly conduct a network meta-analysis. I conducted my systematic search in the 3 databases, yielding a bit over 2,000 reviews and 2,000 articles, and currently I have 64 eligible full-text articles. Right now I'm at the phase of data extraction, and I'm planning to finish it as soon as possible, and then going through with the statistical analysis. So as a summary, my first project is revised and it's submitted again, and my second project is possibly going to be submitted somewhere in September 2024. I would like to finish my presentation with a quote from Antal Serb: "As long as we keep moving, we don't notice how tired we are, but only when we sit down." Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Boldizsár, for the presentation. I have a question about your first project. I think it was the first forest plot, maybe the second, if we could have a look at the forest plot again.
Yes. This one or this one?
The next one.
Okay.
Yeah, this one. So I see that the control arm has a lot of the same data. Is this the same population?
Yes, these are in vitro studies, so the population is the same, but they use different methods on the same population.
Was this taken into account by the statistician during the calculations?
Yes, a multi-level analysis was conducted for this.
Great,
Thank you for your question.
I'm interested in your overall experience. So I might lose the line somewhere somehow, but the number of implants, because you just showed the picture where on the left, the conventional method, there was plenty of implants, and the digital one, at least in the photo, there was only one. So what is your overall expectation? Because as far as I know, the number of implants really makes sense. So what's the limit? Where should we use, where can we use these intraoral scanner and digital methods? How many implants? What is your offer? What is your opinion?
Thank you for your question. In my second topic, in the impression taking meta-analysis, we are going to make subgroups based on the number of implants. We are going to make a full arch subgroup, and we are going to make either a lateral or front region a subgroup, and maybe even a solo implant subgroup as well. Based on the literature and based on my experience, the full arch is still a risky area with digital impression taking. Stereophotogrammetry is a much more promising alternative in that case, but there are studies examining this, and there are articles with successful cases. And in my first topic, I try to summarize the clinical acceptance limit, and there are interesting data about that, because some recent articles in the past 1-2 years suggest that a very high deviation can also be acceptable without any biological adverse effects in the follow-up. So even taking into account that digital impression taking is not as accurate on the full arch, it is still often used in clinical practice, because the discrepancy, even a few hundred micrometers of discrepancy, seem to be acceptable.